Hey guys, this is Grace and welcome to my channel and welcome to our 6x6 paper pad series and layout number 5. Here I'm showing you all of the things that I have kind of prepped before turning on the camera. There is a part in the sketch where it had some vertical strips of paper going down and they kind of look like they were supposed to be like arrows or something like that. And I have this paper. It was a striped paper from this particular paper pad and it just had solid colors, and so I decided to stamp some Easter eggs on there with different shades. Like I had some blues and pinks and just all sorts of colors that kind of match the color scheme of the paper pad. And these photos are of Easter of 2020, and so I am going to that's why I'm gravitating towards some very colorful papers here, just to connect with that, spring idea. Now, I guess if it's spring, it should be a little bit brighter instead of this kind of muted tones, but I like the differentiation of that as well. So the sketch called for four not pure, but full 6x6 papers. And I actually trimmed mine a little bit just because when I started trimming that heart, if I were to make it a full 6x6, it would be cutting on the heart in a weird way, and so I just made sure that it's a little bit smaller, and that's fine. The photos that were supposed to be used for this particular sketch are 6x4 photos, but as you know me, I am mostly working with 3x4s nowadays, and so I'm just going to go with that particular size. And so the layout itself is a little bit kind of skinnier, or not skinnier, but it's more contained in the center compared to if I was doing the 6x4 or 6x4 photos. But that's fine. It was just like about half an inch more on the top and bottom. All right, so one of the things that was added to, or that's part of this sketch, are also some vertical photos that they were kind of placed not straight, but at an angle on the bottom, mostly on the bottom left of the sketch. And so I'm kind of mimicking that here. I don't have enough photos, so I'm adding some 3x4 cards that have Happy Easter. And this is where I will be adding the strips of paper that I have cut. And at first I cut them at a arrow just like it has on the sketch, but I didn't quite like that, so I am just going to go ahead and cut that at like a banner, and I'm going to adhere that on the bottom. I gotta say, this is one of the things that I like about sketches, are that you can have a starting point, but you don't have to end there. You can switch it up, change it up, fit it whatever you need it to be. So I had just laid out the strips kind of the way I wanted. I haven't adhered anything. And then now I'm deciding that since I have that extra space on the top and the bottom, that I will add just some solid colors there. And I thought about this bluish, greenish one just because it was a different color than the rest of them. If I look at the papers, there's a lot of pinks already, a lot of purples and blues, so I was going to go for a more greenish, kind of lighter color to balance it all out. Now I've also wanted to let you know that the papers that I'm using, I believe it's from Paige Evans paper pad, and I only had basically like 4 or 5 sheets left. And this is, I don't know if it's sadly or it's a great news, but this is the only paper pad that I actually finished out of all of the 6x6 pads that I was using for this particular series. I wish I was able to finish them more, but just the idea of being able to actually use them up also makes me feel good. But with this one, I'm able to use them up and throw away the excess. Basically, the extras was just like little strips here and there that I had that was left over from previous projects. But as far as with what I was using for this particular layout, I used them all, which makes me really happy. Okay, so I did decide to mat the vertical photos and also that card. I had to trim that a little bit to make sure that it fits the fits my white cardstock, but other than that, I matted them just so that they will stand out against those very busy backgrounds of the pattern paper that's on the bottom. And then here I am going to start making the banner shape with it. Now, one of the things that I noticed as I was putting it together was that those strips weren't really standing out if the heart was the background, and so I moved it with that kind of paint splatter paper, and I like that one better. It's just not, you know, it is still busy, but it's not as busy because you have the patterns and the Easter eggs, but then you also have the patterns of the hearts. So I'm glad that I switched that up. And then one more thing that I am going to do with these solid cardstock is to add a scallop border on it. I just feel that it will break down all of the straight edges and then also add a little bit more curve to the layout. Now, I'm using scraps of paper, and so I know that there are two different tones of paper there, but I think I'm going to eventually find a piece, maybe it's this one that I'm working on, that I will be able to use the same color, I believe, for all of them. I don't have the layout with me, the finished layout with me right now, but I do remember, I think I'm going to stick with that green one, and I like having them all the same color. So now that that is my layout, I mean, now that I have adhered the items on the page, I was just showing you that I did end up just using one single color and not having two, which is better. And then I also found these other papers there from a 3x4 cut apart that I ended up cutting into ovals. And at first I was thinking Happy Easter will be the title, and so I didn't mess up. I didn't add any more titles, but I do notice now that the oval shaped accents that I have also have some words on there, but I still want to title this page as Happy Easter. Now, I also stamped beforehand some bunnies and then colored them and cut them out of the papers, and that was my accents. I don't really have a lot of Easter accents that I had on my stash at this point, and so I just made my own, which is actually better because then you can customize it for the color or the design that you want, and it worked out well for this particular page. And that is basically my layout. I'm just adding a little bit more final touches here and there. I will add some rhinestones, or no, enamel dots here, but I think I do that after the video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.